since 2016 that pointed out or had a particular slant that talked about students wanting to feel safe and students in this particular climate and students not wanting to have to prove their humanity and their self-worth, which is something that we talk about a lot in HBCUs, about feeling at home and feeling feeling safe. I don't know that I felt necessarily at home or safe. I was invested and I loved it. What I also recognized was that it was a place where I would be recognized as a student, that somebody would listen to me, that if I actually looked at the placement at placement data, that I would find, and these are the things that I tell my nephews, so you want to be an engineer, certainly you could go to MIT, or certainly you could go to Yale if you can get into those places, also would be wonderful. But let's look at who goes to engineering school, what Black people go to engineering school from these institutions. And one of the great things that we say is that it's not just about feeling at home. It's not just about feeling safe. It is the fact that that there seems to be a pipeline to the middle class that is not that can happen in other places, but there's a well-worn path. And I think that part of the evolution, that has not changed. I don't know whether it seemed that way to you, Dr. Cole, or whether it's even true across the board, but it seemed to me that in the late 80s that there were a number of us, there seemed to be more of us who did not have a family history of being the third or the fourth generation than there had been before. And I think that the institutions, in terms of the evolution, were a little, it took them a while to think about how to absorb these young people who perhaps did not have the same sort of the same sort of cultural backgrounds or the ways of home training that they expected, right? And so that the evolution of moving into the HBCUs to the middle class, that I saw people who were third and fourth generation, those of us who came especially from New York didn't have that. My father went to City College, which is another well-worn track to the middle class for people who don't have anything, is to go to City College, right? And for a lot of West Indians who came to this country, it is either you go to a city college or you go to an Ivy. In the late 80s, I think there were more of us from various Africans and people from the Caribbean and people who were mixed African American and Caribbean like myself who were there. And so the evolution meant that there had to be some shifts. But what has not changed is the preparation that these colleges provide. The proviso, though, is that some of the ways that we're expected to behave. I came to Morehouse as a clean-cut colored boy. I was precisely who they wanted, right? Raised in the way that they thought. When I decided that it was time for me to grow dreadlocks and that the name that my parents had given me wasn't sufficient, that was the first pushback. So before I came out, there was already controversy about the fact that I had given up even the fact that as I was the junior representative to the Board of Trustees, and I showed up to the board with a bow tie. And the then president said, "Oh, that's very professorial," sort of spat out, right? That even those, and now Morehouse men, the bow tie is the thing now, right?
Now wait, what was wrong with the bow tie?